I'm doing a little different format today. I'm kind of just going off, off the top. I don't really have a plan of what I'm talking about. Usually, not that I have it all planned out or anything like that, but usually I kind of know I'm going to talk about Dante Wilder, Fury, and I'll have some scouting I did or something like that, some kind of research I did. And this one's kind of just going to see what comes up. We got Fury Wilder this weekend. I gave you my prediction. I got Wilder by knockout. Um, it's kind of weird that it's how confident I'm saying that. And Fury's the most skilled heavyweight in the division, and I'm saying that Wilder by knockout. I don't know why am I so confident in it, but I am. I feel, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Fury won in you know, a dominant decision. I wouldn't be surprised at all by that. But I'm just my pick. It's just when I see it, I just think of Wilder is just going to catch him. He's going to catch him earlier. And if he knocks him down like he did before, he probably finishes the job now. If he has a little bit more left in the tank and he doesn't do it in the last round, he does it earlier. I just think that Wilder's just getting better. And Fury was better than him basically at everything the last fight. And he still barely made it to the end of the fight. So I just think it's just going to happen sooner this time. And I just think that Wilder is just really special fighter. But if Fury won, he's really a special fighter. And it's really the guy that wins. It's just an absolute star and just a king of the division. Maybe arguably maybe the king of boxing at that point. I know that Canelo has it, but who's Canelo gonna fight? He has no one to fight. He has really no one to fight. There's no one there for him to fight. He's so good that he just eliminated all his competition. And some guys, some people say that Floyd, picked and chooses fighters, and Canelo's, you couldn't even argue that because he fights everyone. There's just no one there to fight, and it's getting to a point to where almost Golovkin is becoming even more of a top. He's got more bargaining chips probably than ever, even though that Canelo's really is legitimately the A side and he's at the titles and everything. But there's no one to fight that. Golovkin's just kind of sitting pretty now, just you know what I mean? If they want to make this happen, they got to really come to Golovkin now because there's no one there to fight. There's no one wants to see him fight Saunders. It's just Billy Joe Saunders. It's just Billy Joe didn't capture the imagination when he had a chance, and trying to think of the English middleweight, super middleweight champ, but even him too. He just had his last performance wasn't legitimately exciting or anything. So Canelo, he's the king of boxing right now, but without competition, I mean, how long can that last? He really needs to start getting creative on. He I honestly maybe should sit back for a little bit, let these guys play out. The thing about boxing, these guys aren't really taking chances, right? And I give credit to Dante Wilder and Fury, which really do the opposite. They just take chances. And that's why we have the fight that we have. And then look at a guy like Ryan Garcia, and I know they say he hasn't fought anyone, but he wants to fight everyone, and he's going to take chances in his career. And Earl Spence takes chances in his career. And I don't get this whole sitting back mentality that boxing has these days. Because I'm going to sit back, get tune-ups, build my name and stuff like that. And it's just that's one way to do it if you were a top prospect, gold medalist, all those things. But even those guys take chances. I don't get this mentality of how this is benefiting guys like Charlo. I don't see how that's benefiting him. Andrade can't seem to get fights, but I'm sure there's tough guys that'll fight Andrade. There's guys in that division that are tough that will fight. What's his name? Murata, with the Japanese fighter that Top Rank has. He would fight Andrade. If Andrade went to Japan and fought him, you got to take some chances. They got to start taking chances. Derevyanchenko, who fought Golovkin, I'm sure he would fight Andrade. I don't think these guys are dodging anyone, and I think they're not big names. But you got to fight tough competition, get good fights, and then look dominant in those performances. And that's how you build your name. You're not going to build your name just fighting nobodies, because then that's all people are going to say, and they're not even going to watch these fights. They don't even care about these fights. And then they try to do the thing where they use they put a YouTuber on the card and it's going to build the name of the other guy. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. These kids don't even watch these fights. I watched the fight with them. They'll watch, but they're not truly paying attention until the YouTubers fight. And it doesn't work with the YouTubers a prelim fight because, okay, it's going to get you views in that portion. But once they're done, once they're on the undercard and once they're done, the kids don't watch going forward off of that. They're not watching Andrade fight. So I don't know if that's not working. You gotta take chances. You gotta take chances. And the thing that I hate about the PBC, their mentality is they don't take chances. They take absolutely zero chances. And then they like let it cook and let it cook and let it cook, and then once in a while supposedly we're gonna get Leo Santa Cruz versus Gervonta Davis, and that's a good fight. I want to see it. But is this a benefit to their career that they just sit and wait for years like this and then don't fight anyone and just fight once a year and fight a guy that everybody knows they're gonna beat, and then they look like a good dominant performance? But what does that do after a while? Like, it doesn't do anything. And the PBC has so many fighters. And to me, if I'm the PBC, right, and I know what they're thinking, like, well, keep the names, why ruin the names, right? But to me, I'm thinking more like a UFC method, just like let the cream rise to the top. They got all these good fighters, let them fight each other. And it doesn't really even hurt them because there's so much, you need to put so many shows on there. If a guy loses, he loses to a good guy, people forgive it now. It's like kind of like the UFC, how the UFC is. People losing the UFC, it's forgiven. They'll see him fight again because they have so many fights. People just want to watch fights. I just want to watch fights. And I think boxing's like that right now. You can just lose. It doesn't affect you, honestly. It doesn't affect you at all. I still want to see Luis Ortiz fight. If Luis Ortiz and Kanaki fight, I want to see it. I don't care that Luis Ortiz lost. I wouldn't mind seeing Luis Ortiz get another title shot. Andy Ruiz lost. I don't think that really hurts him too much. I don't think he's going to be getting Joshua, but he's probably going to get Wilder. Ruiz is a big name. He's probably going to get Wilder. If Wilder wins, he probably gets him. He probably gets that fight next. Probably gets a tune-up and then gets that fight. But I just don't get this whole sitting around thing, this mentality that boxers have right now. And Dana White says the kind of boxing can change that, and maybe he can. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be that powerful in boxing as he thinks. I think he could add some interesting changes to it. Maybe it's like a different avenue. And I love more avenues for fighters because it's such a tough business. The more avenues, the better. But if his thing is that, you know, like the best are going to fight the best, he's not going to have the best, though. I'm not going to have him for a while. Now, he could build names in his own thing. Now, so say if he got like a fighter, like, I'm trying to think like a good like free agent. I don't know. Let's just say, they're not even free agents, but let's just say like Jojo Diaz and Tevin Farmer, right? And then he got like two more guys in that weight class, right? And then he had those guys and they fought each other. And then the losers fought each other and the winners fought each other, right? And then the winner of both those fights fight each other again. That's not bad. I like that format, right? But if you don't have the best guys, so you could build that format and keep your guys in there, right? So you keep the guys how the PBC keeps their guys, where they don't fight anyone outside of it. But you have them fighting tough fights all the time, right? I think you could build something on that. I don't think it's going to be the hugest thing in the world, but you create your own bouts. You allow people, they get their own belt, so they have their own belt. I'm the ZUFFA Boxing champion, middleweight champion. So you have a claim. So he's got a little claim to star right there because he has a belt, right? He has a belt, and he has he's the champ of that promotion. But and I like that. I like that for him. I hope that's what he brings. I hope that'd be the interesting thing to do is create your own champions. Create your own promotion that keeps the fighters within. Let them build, and then once they build and they say he's, got enough, get one, let the cream rise to the top, and then you can go and get a mega fight and co-promotion it with someone else. There's a method there of success that I can see, and you could do that with really, you could get some bargain prices for some of these fighters, like a good fighter like Rob Brandt and guys like that, and just get the mid-level guys like that, like Rob Brandt, Jamal Herring, just mid-level guys that are good fighters. Maybe not superstars right now because right now they can't beat the top guys, right? They can't beat the top guys, but they were in a boxing promotion that was centered around guys at that level, and they let the cream rise to the top. Then you could build some stars, and I think maybe that's what he's planning. They're talking. Joe Rogan was talking about like cross promotion thing, like cross sport things, and I don't know. I don't know if it does any good for either sport. If Jorge Masvidal comes and gets beat up by an average boxer, is that good for the sport? Is that good for UFC? And is that good for the other thing? I don't know who it benefits there. So I don't think that's what Dana White's planning. Maybe like McGregor Mayweather to bring attention to it with the undercard stacked with all his boxers, then I could see that. I also wouldn't mind if you say we did MMA fighters, right, and you did them in boxing fights on the promotion, on the thing. So like ZUFFA, when you had, let's just say, trying to think of like two good stand-up fighters. Oh, I don't know. Let's say Israel Adesanya, right? He's boxed before, right? Israel Adesanya and Costa, right? We want to see him fight MMA, of course. But if they did a boxing fight, right, why not? Who wouldn't want to see that? Who would want to see these two guys box each other? Now, I'd rather see them fight MMA because that's what their best at, but not Israel. Israel does everything. Israel might make, maybe if he took boxing serious, could make a serious run in it. You know what I mean? If he took it serious and built himself up, it's just another avenue for these fighters. I don't mind another avenue, but I don't think bringing them in and feeding either one to the wolves. I don't think that helps it. I don't think that helps it at all. But yeah, I don't get the mentality. That's the thing that UFC's got right now. I think that's been said 1,000 times, but the best fight the best. And not that always happens, because sometimes like there'll be distractions, like with the whole Cejudo thing right now. Cejudo's probably gonna fight some weird name that doesn't deserve the shot that they're gonna get, but they're doing that because that weight division just doesn't bring any attention, so they have to do something like that. So it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens most of the time. And most of the time, like I said, UFC, they benefit from stars being built usually without their control. You know, Nate Diaz has never really been built by the UFC, but he's a star. And he just happened to, he was a star just out of, not by anything the UFC did. And the BMF bout, that's not even anything the UFC did. Like, that was just something they created and they talked about and they brought up, and then people ran with it. And then the UFC was like, well, let's make this work. So all these sports, you know, you can't really make your own stars. You don't really know who's going to be a star. I mean, like, besides, like I said, like, you know, everyone could see Ryan Garcia be a star, but not everyone knew that Conor was going to be a star. How would you know? How do you know people's going to react to it? How do you know his fighting is going to work? It takes a lot. Like, no one can know. That's why Vince McMahon never got into the fighting business, because he says he can't control who the star is. And you can't in fighting, because you don't know the skills. So many things have to line up to be a star. The UFC just says, screw it, let them fight, and then we'll figure that out going forward. Stars will rise, and that's what it is. And PBC's trying to build stars. They're trying to make their guys stars, and it's like, just let them fight. I don't understand the business model, and if it must be effective because they keep doing it, but I don't get it. It's not interesting to me. What else we talk about? You know what I mean? This is really had nothing planned like for this. Just, you know, Ruiz. Be watching this weekend. Ruiz is an interesting name that's going to have to be after this weekend, because if Wilder wins, which I'm predicting he wins, right? Say if he wins, that's the name. That's who he fights next, because I don't see Joshua happening this year. Now that they could, if Wilder says he'll fight Joshua, that fight, and they're serious about it, that fight will be signed, because there's so much money to make, and it's the right time to make it. But I don't see it happening this year. Maybe next year, right? I think next year is more realistic for it. So I think we'll say Wilder wins. Say he wins by knockout, right? We have to win by knockout. If it's a decision, they'll run it back again. But say he wins by knockout. Then Ruiz is the obvious name for next. So you give Ruiz a tune-up, maybe against Areola. Right? That fight makes sense. Two Mexicans doing Southern California. Honda, like the Honda Center, something like that. Then Ruiz should win that fight. Ruiz will win that fight. Then you build it up, him versus Wilder, and then you do the comparison that Joshua lost, and then he won a decision that wasn't that wasn't kind of just outbox him, but didn't get the knockout, whatever. And Ruiz could take a good shot, and he's there to go to war. And Wilder looks like he's in there going there for the knockout. So they're both two guys going for a knockout. It sells. It's a big fight. There's no getting past it. It's a big fight, and Ruiz just has to not be an enemy of himself. Come in shape when he fights Areola. Come in shape, look good. You know, look like you want to fight. Look like you want that. Like you're still hungry and you want a title and you want to take it seriously, because people are going to get behind him. People get behind Chavez Jr. People are going to get behind him. He's Mexican American heavyweight champ. Well, previously a heavyweight champ, post heavyweight champ. But yeah, that fight's just like, it's just clear as day to me. It's just clear as day. And if Fury wins, I think Joshua makes a lot of sense, but I also think that, you know, ESPN knows that like Fury's saying, he only has 2 fights left in that contract. They're going to be sending some heaters at him, fighters that they have. And, you know, ESPN doesn't have a lot of heavyweight chance, but I'm curious to say if Fury wins, do they just say, we're going to get as much money out of him we can, try to get Joshua, right? Or do they even work with PBC again and try to get Ruiz, right? But I think if Fury wins, most likely leads to another rematch, because Fury most likely wins by decision, right? And just because Deontay Wilder is such a puncher that you'll always think he has a chance in the fight. And there's going to be these fights, there's no way not some interesting moments going from both guys in this fight, whether it's even a knockout, by one fighter, there's still going to be interesting moments from the other fighter, right? So if Wilder loses the decision, he's going to have moments where he shines in it, and it's going to lead to a decision. It's going to lead to a rematch, right? So I think Fury wins as an automatic rematch. I'm not even. It's going to be a decision. If Fury knocks him out, it's going to be later in the fight. It's not going to be early. So it's either late knockout, which would have had a competitive war because that means that they were both going at it, and Fury was trying to get that knockout, right? Or he wins a decision, and that was a fight that Wilder was trying to look for the knockout all night. Maybe didn't get it, but landed a big shot here and there. Something to make it seem like, oh man, well, Fury got the victory, but Wilder just needs to land one. They can still run that back. But if Wilder wins by knockout, right? Say Wilder wins the decision, they run it back. But Wilder wins by knockout. Well, then it's Ruiz. It's clear as day it's Ruiz. And Ruiz is going to get opportunities like this. So he's not disappearing. You know what I mean? That's what they're going to put the money. They're going to put the money behind him. Let's see where he goes to train. That's going to be interesting. I think why not Freddie Roach? He's an offensive fighter. Why not Freddie Roach? I'm surprised Fury didn't go to Freddie Roach. I don't get that. I think Ruiz and Freddie Roach. I think that's a good matchup. I think that's a good team right there. I like that. I like the way Roach trains pressure fighters like that. And he's the only guy that could get guys like that. He got Chavez Jr. to focus for a little bit, then it went off the rails. But he get him focused like that. I like that. I like that match. I like them working together. So big fight this weekend. Second podcast of the week. Getting more consistent. This has been The Weigh-In.